I'm Bernie Traywick. I'm the CEO for May River Dermatology. I was fortunate to help start the company back in 2009 with my wife, Carmen Traywick, who is a board-certified dermatologist. I'd worked in business for hospital administration, healthcare administration with Emory. Talked to Carmen, and we decided that the best thing would be for us to open up a new dermatology practice. Put my MBA to work and did a little market analysis and figured out, yeah, this would be a great place to start a practice. That was back in 2009, and with family in the area, and not really knowing any better, we decided to lunch and move down here and have a little fun in Bluffton. Carmen had just finished residency. She was working part-time for another dermatologist in Savannah, and I was trying to get everything started while we were also having another little girl, Elena. So I'm looking back on it, it was just a very busy time, but also now kind of going through it, we really wouldn't change anything of it. Pretty quickly, Carmen's schedule was full, and so we were able to bring in our first physician assistant, and we actually just celebrated her 15th year anniversary, and it kind of just leads to the practice we're trying to build. We're interested in making sure that patients receive the best care possible. That's been the story of how May River Dermatology started in our focus. You can choose to run a practice multiple ways. You can say, hey, we want to create as much access as possible. They may have to wait an hour or two before the doctor can get to see them, and they may have 2 or 3 minutes with a doctor, and the workflow happens really quickly, but you were able to get in and be seen in a week or two. Our model is a little bit different. It's a little bit harder to get an appointment with us, particularly as a new patient. But once you're in the system and as an established patient, patients are spending time with the provider. We have medical assistants to support them so that they can have conversations with the provider, with the patients, which are really important. I think that's one of the pieces that helps the patient feel comfortable rather than conversation and they're looking down at the computer. And the whole experience is important as they come in. Front desk needs to be receptive, and the medical assistants, we actually spend a lot of time training them. And that shows in the patient care, right? It's like when they come in, people are like, wow, this is very organized, this is really great. And then, ultimately the patient's there to see the providers, and, again, patient-centered care is at the focus of what we're doing. It's a busy clinic, but we can manage it really well so that patients have a very pleasant experience in the sense that, like, we run on time. Carmen is a very gifted, very wonderful doctor and dermatologist. She actually gets operationally what it takes to kind of run a practice. Not stuff that she likes to do, but she understands it. Well, on my side, I don't really like the bumps and the bruises and the spots, and it's not my thing. So Carmen loves that. Our providers love that. That's why they're there. I'm there to help with the operational side. I love the technology, I love finance, I love working with teams, I love building. And so we're able to carve, each one have our own focus. So she's very focused on patient care, and I can focus on the other pieces, which is all the business components of how do you run a practice. We have 3 beautiful daughters. Between those 3 girls, so we've got, we worry about school, we worry about sports, we were involved in our church. We have a great small group that we work with and try to help us stay balanced. I'd love to play golf, I'd love to fish, I'd love to be on a boat, but those 3 things don't happen very often. But the trade-off right now is spending quality time with my kids, because as we've now seen, one of them has moved off and is gone. So really the time outside of work is with family. May River Dermatology has been part of the Low Country since 2009 when we opened up the doors. How we now have 5 locations in this area in Low Country of South Carolina, with 1 in Port Royal. Actually have 5 in the Bluffton area, and then 1 in Hilton Head, and we have 1 more remote location in Johns Creek, Georgia. We've been very mindful of the fact that we are in a small town. We are part of the community, And there's a lot of trust that happens between a patient and their doctor, because you come in at vulnerable positions in the sense that you're maybe sick, maybe ill, have things that you don't understand, and you are relying on somebody to tell you what may be going on. And so we understand that. We run a practice based on how we would really love to be treated as a patient.